The Galactic Culinary Institute's amphitheater fell silent as instructor Velthax dimmed the lights. 300 aspiring chefs from 47 species sat in tiered rows, their various appendages poised over data tablets. At the back of the hall, Athena leaned against the wall, arms crossed, a slight smirk playing at the corner of her mouth. Today, Velthax announced, his crystalline voice resonating through the chamber, we discuss the most dangerous aspect of food preparation across the known galaxy. His 4 eyes swept the audience with practiced gravity. Carnivore feeding behavior. The holographic display flickered to life, showing a fearsome creature from Velthax's homeworld, scales gleaming, multiple rows of teeth exposed, tearing into bleeding flesh with savage efficiency. Several students recoiled. A Plixian in the front row made a gurgling sound of distress. Note the primal aggression, Velthax continued, manipulating the hologram to show close-ups of dripping fangs. The complete lack of refinement. This is why civilized species evolved beyond such barbarism. We process our proteins, we culture our nutrients, we eliminate the savagery from sustenance. Athena's smirk widened. She caught Walker's eye from across the room. He was grinning too, shaking his head slowly. The consumption of raw flesh, Velthax pressed on, represents the absolute nadir of culinary sophistication. It is the behavior of unintelligent beasts, of creatures ruled by base instinct rather than higher reasoning. He paused for effect. This is why the Galactic Culinary Council maintains strict protocols. Raw flesh preparation is restricted to biological study facilities, not kitchens. A Thracian student raised a tentacle. Instructor, what about species that still consume unprocessed proteins? Velthax's crystalline structure darkened, his species equivalent of a frown. There are a handful of primitive cultures that cling to such practices. They are not represented in institutions like ours. He gestured broadly at the assembly. We are the pinnacle of gastronomic evolution. Excuse me, instructor. Every head turned. Athena had pushed off from the wall and was walking down the center aisle, her boots clicking against the polished floor. Walker was moving too, descending from his seat with casual confidence. Velthax's eyes focused on the 2 humans. Yes, Chef Athena? Chef Walker? You have a question? Not a question, Athena said, reaching the presentation floor. More of a demonstration. Walker was already pulling items from the culinary kit he'd brought to class. With your permission, instructor, we'd like to show the class something from human cuisine. Velthax's crystalline body brightened with what might have been amusement. Humans. Yes, I should have known. Your species has such rustic origins. Please, enlighten us. Show us your processed protein pastes, your cultured meat approximations. Actually, Athena said, as Walker set a portable prep station on the instructor's desk, we thought we'd show you something a bit more traditional. From a cooling unit, Walker extracted a pristine cut of bluefin tuna, obtained from Earth's carefully managed aquaculture reserves. The deep red flesh gleamed under the amphitheater lights. The scent hit the room immediately, and several species' olfactory organs twitched. That's raw flesh, a student whispered, scandalized. It is, Athena confirmed. She drew a knife from Walker's kit, a traditional yanajiba, the blade catching the light like liquid mercury. From one of Earth's apex predators, a hunter of the deep seas. Velthax's structure flickered uncertainly. Surely you don't intend sashimi, Walker announced, his voice carrying to every corner of the amphitheater. The art of eating raw fish, practiced on Earth for over 2,000 years. His hands moved with practiced precision, slicing ginger into paper-thin ribbons. Athena's knife began its work. The blade moved in long, confident strokes, each motion a testament to hundreds of hours of practice. Precise cuts revealed the fish's inner structure, the grain of the muscle, the marbling of fat. She arranged each slice on a simple ceramic plate with artistic minimalism. You're eating a predator, Velthax said, and for the first time, his voice held uncertainty rather than authority. Raw. This is exactly the kind of barbaric, is it? Athena interrupted, holding up a perfect slice of tuna on her knife. The light passed through it, showing the quality of the cut. Let me ask you something, instructor. How many species in this room can digest raw proteins without genetic modification? Silence. How many can eat apex predators from their own world's food chain? Walker added, carefully mixing wasabi paste. More silence. Humans didn't evolve beyond the need for cooked food and then choose to eat raw fish. Athena continued, beginning to plate the sashimi with deliberate artistry. We evolved the ability to eat almost anything. Cooked, raw, fermented, aged. Predator or prey. We're not at the top of Earth's food chain because we avoided dangerous prey. We're there because we learned to hunt everything, and then we learned to make it delicious. She picked up a slice with chopsticks, dipped it in soy sauce, added a touch of wasabi. The instructor showed you carnivore feeding behavior. Savage, mindless consumption. Let me show you human feeding behavior. With deliberate grace, Athena placed the sashimi on her tongue. She closed her eyes, savoring it. When she opened them again, they gleamed with satisfaction. Technique. Respect. Appreciation. We don't just eat predators raw, instructor. We turn them into art. Walker had prepared several more plates. The Galactic Culinary Council thinks raw flesh consumption is primitive. On Earth, our sushi chefs train for decades. They study the knife work like swordsmen study combat. They learn to read the grain of fish muscle like poets read verse. He held up a piece of toro, fatty tuna belly, perfectly marbled, practically glowing. This isn't barbarism. This is mastery. Athena gestured to the hologram still frozen on the screen. The alien predator with its blood-stained maw. That creature eats to survive. Humans? We eat to create, to celebrate, to connect. She smiled, sharp and proud. We're the species that looked at apex predators and said, "How can we make you taste better?" Velthax stood motionless, his crystalline form processing this information. Finally, he spoke, his voice quieter than before. "You're saying this raw flesh consumption is sophisticated?" "I'm saying," Athena replied, "that humans figured out something the rest of the galaxy missed. It's not what you eat that defines civilization. It's how you eat it. The intention, the skill, the culture you build around it." Walker began distributing small portions to the nearest students, species whose biology could handle it. In Japan, Itami spent years learning to honor the fish. In France, they serve beef tartare. In Ethiopia, kitfo. Raw, refined, intentional. A brave Xinthian student tried a piece. Its optical sensors widened. "This is extraordinary." Others followed. The amphitheater filled with surprised murmurs, with students experiencing flavors their processed protein diets had never approached. Athena caught Velthax's gaze. "You wanted to teach about carnivore feeding behavior, instructor. Consider this lesson 1. Humans are persistence predators. We didn't just hunt prey until they collapsed from exhaustion. We pursued culinary perfection until we turned predators into delicacies." Walker cleaned his knife with a cloth, the gesture smooth and practiced. "We eat predators raw not because we're primitive, but because we're confident enough to face the galaxy's dangers and say, 'Your dinner.'" Velthax's crystalline body pulsed with colors, confusion, respect, recalculation. "I may need to revise my curriculum." "We'd be happy to help," Athena said, already planning the next demonstration. "Wait until we show you fugu." "Fugu?" Velthax asked warily. Walker grinned. "Poisonous pufferfish. Lethal if prepared incorrectly. Delicious if you know what you're doing." "You eat poisonous. Predators aren't the only dangerous thing we put on our plates, instructor," Athena said. "Humans don't just participate in the food chain. We dominate it. And we do it with style." End.